Good morning. This is Bill with Think Out Loud Media. We're going to get right to the point today of what I'm thinking. And so far, obviously, nobody cares because I got one viewer. That's me. But maybe someday it'll catch on. I don't know what is going on with Major League Baseball in the Hall of Fame. It's not the Hall of Fame anymore. It's the Hall of who can we elect so we can have a big ceremony and make millions and millions of dollars in Cooperstown. Because the guys that they're letting in, I just don't understand why they're lowering the standards. If you're a position player, you had a 400 average, okay, you should be in there. But nobody had a 400 average. If you had 500 home runs, you're in the Hall of Fame. That was a measuring stick. Now I guess 450 is okay. It's not 500. So again, they've lowered the number. 3,000 hits. It's not like these guys that are getting in have 2,997 hits and they're 3 hits short or they're 3 home runs short. They're not even close. I just don't understand it. Pitchers, 300 wins. Now, there are some pitchers that really, really deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, like Jack Morris. He won the World Series with 3 different teams. And he was the main reason that they won it. I can still remember as a kid watching him pitch and go in 10 innings to close out the World Series game for his team to win. Now, he won it with Minnesota, he won with Detroit, and he also won with the Blue Jays, I believe. If I'm wrong, and if anybody sees this channel and this video, definitely leave me a comment and straighten me out. I just don't understand how all these mediocre players are getting in. Scott Rolen is not a Hall of Fame. So I'm watching Major League, the MLB network. And they're already trying to make a case for Jimmy Rollins. He doesn't have 3,000 hits. I mean, come on. They got to talk about his defense. Okay, big deal. There are shortstops that are above average with defense. But the reason that there's guys in the Hall of Fame is because they got 3,000 hits and their defense was awesome and above average. Being in the major leagues is like the Hall of Fame for people like you and I. But out of all the people that play baseball, and they are in that league, they're not all the best. They can't all go into the Hall of Fame. That's supposed to be the elite. And if there's years that they go with nobody being elected, that's what makes it so tough to be in the Hall of Fame, and that's what makes it so important that you do get in, and it's very tough to get in. If you're going to just let anybody in, why the hell is Pete Rose not in the Hall of Fame? I don't give a shit if he bet on baseball. I don't really care. You cannot tell me there was ever a time that he bet on baseball and it was where he was going to do something to affect the game so that he could win the game, and he bet against his team. There is no way that Charlie Hustle was betting against his team. That guy was ready to die. He has like 17 records, all-time records in baseball. He's the all-time hits king with 4,256. How many does Scott Rolen have? 1,900? He's not even close. He's not even in the same ballpark. But you're telling me that Scott Rolen is worthy of being in the Hall of Fame over Pete Rose? Give me a break. Then they're talking about the more time that goes by, they might let Aroyd in. He's the biggest cheating son of a bitch that I ever saw in my life. I don't care how many home runs he hit. How many home runs did he hit when it mattered? From what I hear, he was getting tips from other players on what the pitch was going to be to help him pad his stats, working out deals with guys. And Carlos, am I hearing somebody beeping a horn? I don't know what I'm hearing. How does Carlos Beltran get in? So the guy that came up and announced who's getting in said these picks were based on integrity, and they were very good players, and they were good with the community. And I wish I watched the speech again so I could express my disgust better. Carlos Beltran was part of the cheating Astros in 2017, signaling from the dugout what the pitch was going to be, because there was guys watching the monitor on the other team putting down how many fingers and what the pitch was going to be. He was part of that, banging on the garbage can or whatever system they used. And you're going to put him in the Hall of Fame? A cheater like that? And I don't understand how that you're going to put in. I mean, I could understand when you put in a pitcher because his services are needed and any team will take him. And he gets traded and moved around like Nolan Ryan or Max Scherzer. But Max Scherzer, to me, I don't know how many wins he has, but he's won the World Series with a couple of teams, and he was one of the reasons why they won it. Now, if you're an outfielder like Carlos Beltran, and you're play 5 years here, 4 years there, 2 years here, 3 years there, that tells me there's a problem with chemistry. That tells me that you're not a good teammate. I just don't understand why you think he's so great. 452 home runs. He's 48 short. Which that might have taken him another 10 years if he kept playing. But I don't think that was going to happen because they got caught cheating. Why are we lowering the standards? I just don't understand why the standards are being lowered to get into the Hall of Fame. It's not the Hall of Fame anymore. It's not the elite. They got the wrong players in there. Andruw Jones? I don't understand it. I really don't. Oh, and then they're trying to already make a case for Andy Pettitte. He only used steroids because he wasn't playing baseball and he was trying to recover quicker so he can come back to play. That's the whole reason that they take the drugs. That's why they take PEDs. So they can get back on the field sooner and stay healthy. So he's admitted to taking steroids, so he should be exempt. Otherwise, you got to let Barry Bonds in. You can say what you want to say. Barry Bonds might have been a real jerk or whatever, but holy crap, he'd get one pitch because they kept pitching him outside, inside. They didn't give him a strike. They give him one strike, and he can hit it. He can hit a home run. How about the Phillies? Cantaloupe. Nick Cantaloupe, Castellanos or Polonis or whatever the hell you want to call him. I call him Cantaloupe because I can't pronounce his name. He swings at every pitch. And if they throw it down the middle, he'll run into it. But if it's a foot off the plate or 2 feet off the plate, he's swinging. Where Barry Bonds is not swinging. He's got a great eye, and if it comes in the zone, he crushes it out of the park. So that's an elite player to me. That's somebody that belongs in the Hall of Fame. Roger Clemens. Does he belong in the Hall of Fame? Absolutely. If you're going to let in Scott Rolen, if you're going to let in Andruw Jones, if you're going to let in Carlos Beltran, then you got to let these other guys in. 300 and some wins. Roger Clemens. You got to let him in. He's facing guys that were taking steroids also. Which, by the way, at that point was not illegal. Stop moving the goalpost. You can't keep moving the goalpost just because you feel warm and fuzzy for one particular person over another. Oh, well, he's a good guy. And I think all they want to do is just be able to have somebody go into the Hall of Fame every year so they could have a big ceremony up in Cooperstown. And all the people go there and they spend millions of dollars. Well, this is Bill at Think Out Loud Media. Send me a comment. Straighten me out.